What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 4 of Blue River Bowhunting. I got Kyle Campbell with me this week from Wired Outdoors. He's the cameraman, photographer for those guys over there. And how's it going, Kyle?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Not too bad for a Monday, anyways.
I know how that goes.
So, kind of give everybody your background, like kind of what you got going on, and why we're interested in talking with you.
I guess, do you want me to just talk about like Wired Outdoors and like how I got started with that? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, kind of.
So I'm the photographer, videographer for Wired Outdoors, and work here. I moved from Missouri to Pennsylvania for that job specifically. I've always kind of been interested in photography, videography. I remember when I was a little, like in high school, I want to say a little kid, but I guess I was a little kid in high school. But when I was in high school, me and my buddies would always take a video camera out with us and film. We got so many stupid videos out there. It's ridiculous. But I always wanted to take it serious and like, oh, we need to do this. We need to do that. Seriously. We need to just be like these guys on Realtree and stuff like that. And these other guys were just messing around, just playing around and stuff. But I'd always been interested in that. And finally, I got a message from John Collins one day when I was sitting in the tree stand, and he was like, hey, got the perfect job for you. And Jason was looking for a photographer, videographer. And lo and behold, I applied for it. And I actually she was my fiance at the time. And I actually sent her a message and was like, hey, what about this? And she was like, okay. And then she actually had to look up. She said she had to look up where Pennsylvania was on a map. She didn't even know. But I was like, if I get it, we have to move to Pennsylvania. And she was like, okay, let's go. So lo and behold, I got it, and here we are.
That's awesome. Is that something that is actually like a full-time job for you, or do you have other jobs that you do?
No, it's actually a 9 to 5. Well, I'm there every day. Yeah, it's a full-time job, and it's the only job, and it keeps us busy all year round. So we have quite a few clients and stuff that we do, photo contracts and sponsorships and stuff with. So yeah.
Right. Did you go to college for that?
No, I like to tell people I went to YouTube University. So you can find out anything to do and like anything on YouTube. Obviously, everybody knows that. But
right.
No, I just sat down and taught myself the ins and out of a camera and watched YouTube videos, and that's how I started and how I learned.
But yeah, that's pretty cool. I started with just a small little handy cam. Obviously, I'm not using some equipment like what you guys got, but you were the one that actually helped me out. I messaged you on Twitter saying, hey, what kind of camera should I roll with? Or I think you actually helped me pick out an external mic.
Yeah.
And now I'm actually doing a lot better. I figured things out, but it's all trial and error. You gotta mess with it to figure it out. I mean, you might go from, getting a cheaper camera arm to I got like the Muddy Pro or whatever it is, and it's so smooth compared to what I had before. The first one I had like creaked when I moved it. It just sounded like shit,
Went like that.
Right, and then I got the fluid head and all that stuff, and it it's fun. What's it like being a full-time cameraman?
I'm gonna be honest, it's a lot of work. I know like people like to do it on for fun, and that's all fun and stuff. But when you have to do it for work, you have to be a lot more serious. When you're doing it for fun, you're like, oh, I missed the shot or whatever. Whoops, my bad.
Right.
Oh, well, that was still fun. Now it's like, you got to be like, if you miss it, you're not really, I don't want to say I'm going to get fired or anything, but it's not good.
So are you producing those shows too as well?
Yeah. I edit and film and edit and everything.
That's awesome. I love your guys' stuff. Do you do the tooth and claw too, or is it just the wired?
No, I edit the tooth and claw, but John, since he's down in Kentucky, he kind of mostly just films all his stuff himself.
Right.
And then he'll send us all the files, and then we edit them.
Those are some top-notch predator hunting videos. I'm not really into that kind of thing. I mean, I would if somebody took me and showed me, but those are incredible videos that he does down there.
Yeah, absolutely. And predator hunting, I don't know if any of your listeners, surely some of them are probably predator hunts, but man, predator hunting's, you go 15 times and you maybe get a shot at one coyote every 15 hunts, and it's a drag. But John, he's really, really good at it.
Right. Yeah. I have the notifications on for I think the Wired and Tooth and Claw. So as soon as those pop up, I'm like, ooh, I get to watch something good today. You know.
Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's good work, buddy. I really that's awesome. I mean, just everything you guys are doing over there is really cool. And when I first started this podcast, you were one of the people that I thought of because I'm loving being behind the camera, man, or behind the camera now. I mean, I'm not full time like you. I'm just filming for my buddies. We got a little group going, you know, and I love it. I love being behind the camera just as much being behind my bow. But I can imagine being back there full time can probably be pretty stressful at times too.
Yeah, and that's awesome too. That's how I always say too. People like, oh, you don't get to hunt, you don't get to shoot as much, and you don't get to kill. It's like, yeah, that kind of sucks, but it's also it's a challenge to get them on film too. Like shooting them with the camera is just as hard, if not harder, as shooting them with a rifle. I mean, or bow or whatever.
Right.
But the part that does suck is, yeah, I don't get a whole lot of time to hunt myself, but it's still fun.
You know, I think last year I didn't even really pick my bow up until like the last week of October, and I did a solo trip up in Wisconsin and self-filmed myself. But you know, I was getting behind the camera for everybody else, and then you know, this year I think they're ready to return the favor a little bit. I already had conversations. They're like, "Hey, man, we got to figure out like a schedule. Like you do it one day, I do it the next. You know, switching on and off." But I like it so much. Plus, I'm the one that put all the money in for this camera equipment, so I kind of like being in my hands a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's you got to have some guys to trade back and forth for sure. It's a lot of work hauling all that gear and all that stuff to the tree. Like everybody wants to haul or film their hunts until they do, and then they're like, it's always the one time that they don't. They kill something. They're like, I'm not taking the camera today.
Well, that kind of happened to us.
And then you know what happens.
A little bit, not like that sort of sense, but our opening weekend of gun here, that Saturday or Sunday, I mean, it was like 50, 60 mile an hour winds and raining. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going out and hunting in that. I'm not going to see anything. You know, they're going to be bedded down all day. And my best friend, he went out and killed a 153-inch 8-pointer, and I had filmed him all year. That was like the first or second time I wasn't with him the whole year. I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah. Come on, it really works out like that?
Every time, for some reason. I think they know somehow.
Right. So how did you get started in hunting in general?
So it's kind of a funny story, honestly. I grew up with a single mom, and we I don't want to say we lived in the city, but we lived in like a suburb of a city. So I went in the woods with my BB gun a couple times when I was a kid and shot squirrels and stuff. But then we moved up northeast Missouri when I was 14, I think. And the guy that my mom was like moved in with another guy or whatever. And then so he was like, you need to start hunting. And he had this huge farm, hundreds of acres. And I'm like, I don't know what hunting is. And he's like, and he kind of explained to me, you know, he had deer heads like you got back there and stuff. And so honestly, I went and picked up a bear bow, like brand bear, not bear bow. Right. A bear bow for $15 from my friend. I saw it in his garage and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. He's like, I'll sell it to you. I was like, okay, how much do you want? He's like, $15. I was like, okay. So I bought it for $15, and I remember I bought a ladder stand for $45 from my girlfriend at the time. Had a gun shop or it's a little outdoor shop, and he had a ladder stand for $45. I bought that. And I went and put it on a tree. I think my third day or whatever. I think it was like my third day. It was like October 3rd because it started October 1st in Missouri. Mm-hmm. I shot a little fork horn, and ever since then I was like hooked. Right. So that was pretty much how I got started into hunting.
Now, are you big into, you know, when you're not behind the camera, are you big into bow hunting?
Oh, yeah. I love bow hunting. And ever since, like I said, I was 14, and ever since then, I've bow hunted all my life. My family has a little farm of like 80 acres up there in northeast Missouri. And I don't know if you've hunted in Wisconsin, you said, but
yeah. I actually got to venture out in Missouri last year for turkey season. Me and two other guys, we went out there for 5 days, I think, in northwest Missouri. Okay. Had a blast. I would love to go back. It's not what I pictured. Or just thinking Missouri, I think like river bottoms and stuff like that. And it was more like rolling hills. Yeah. And river bottoms to go with it, with kind of sets of woods here and there, which it was awesome. We had a blast. I kind of joke. I was on somebody else's podcast last night kind of telling the story, but when we were talking about filming, you know, we like to, put just raw footage out there. You know, some people don't want to put on there that they missed, but I missed a bird on there the last day, and kind of sad about it. But it was raw, I was going to show it. This is how I messed up,
Yeah.
So, but Missouri was really nice. I'd love to go back. I'd love to actually deer hunt there, one year and check it out.
Yeah, once you get like northeast Missouri, northwest, they got some big deer in northwest Missouri too. But northeast Missouri, kind of down to the central part, there's a lot of like I don't know if did you guys drive or did you fly?
Yeah,
out
we drove. It was like 9 hours from where we're at here in Indiana.
Okay, yeah. So you guys probably you're in Indiana too. It's probably kind of the same. A lot of cornfields and stuff there in northeast Missouri, and
right.
That's kind of where I think we were. I don't know if you know where Quincy, Illinois is.
Yeah, kind of.
It's right there on the river, on the Mississippi River. We're about
okay,
an hour.
yes. Right when you cross, that's where you're at, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We're about an hour from the Mississippi River there, there's our family farm there in Missouri.
That's awesome. There's probably some big deer over there, too.
Yeah. I haven't shot very many. I got one big one. It's 153 inches. My cousin shot a 180 incher out of there.
Wow.
1 year. There's some pretty big deer. There's usually always one big deer that's out there that we can't. It's always the neighbor who kills them.
Right.
It always works out like that.
You talk a little bit about traveling to hunt. How much do you actually, travel with everybody for wired?
We usually go to Illinois once a year. We used to go to Wisconsin, but we haven't gone. We didn't go there last year because of COVID. I don't know if we're going to go this year because it's still kind of rampant.
Mm-hmm.
Rifle season, and then a little bit of bow. We kind of mix that in. That's probably the main trips that we do every single year. This year we have a lease in Ohio that we're going to go to. I mean, that's only 3 hours away, so I don't know if that's considered travel.
What part of Ohio is that?
I think it's the eastern part. It's Coshocton County.
Okay.
It's on the eastern side, I think. It's only 3 hours from here, and we're in western Pennsylvania, so it's not too far away.
We were kind of planning some stuff down there ourselves. If we can get it done here, it all really revolves around that. But if we get it done, we're wanting to travel. We've been wanting to go over there the last couple of years, but it's like more of south central Ohio, I think.
Okay.
Where they were wanting to go is just some public land. We don't really. I mean, we have a guy over there as far as a buddy that would let us come hunt, but we were kind of just wanting to check out some public land and have fun with it.
Yeah, Ohio. I'm excited for it. Ohio seems to be. You always see big deer killed out of there, so I'm pretty excited.
Absolutely. I watched your Kentucky rifle hunt earlier, kind of just have something to talk about, but that was a pretty that's
right there.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a nice buck, and I actually own some property in Kentucky, and I've never gone down there deer hunting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Turkey season, I'm all in. I go for a week every year. Last year I didn't get to go. We went to Missouri instead, but turkey season in Kentucky is unreal. I love it. Like here in Indiana, we don't, where I'm at anyways, like you might have a flock here or there, like along the river, Blue River. And where I go in Kentucky, there is just flock after flock. And I have permission around a lot where I actually own some property. And there is just, you can strike a bird up whenever, it seems like. Like my favorite time to hunt Kentucky turkeys is like dead noon.
Yeah. Kentucky turkey hunting. It seems like it's kind of like rolling hills too, like you were talking about. And
right.
It just seems like around every corner there's like, oh, there's a turkey strand. Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one.
Right.
And yeah, you can just go out and, I mean, even if you just, like you said, after, you hunt the roost and after 9, 10 o'clock, you just take a hike and just call every 50 yards. And then, oh, there's a goblin. Let's try to get, but yeah, turkey hunt. And then deer hunting, it's an up and comer for deer hunting too. You've seen it. It's been creeping up on the Boone and Crockett list every year. They're starting to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I'm going down there. I wish I could go this coming weekend for the opener, but me and my wife and my best friend, we're going up to Lake Michigan for Labor Day weekend. But whenever we come back, I'm actually going to jump down there in a couple weekends in a row and film for a guy down there and have some fun with it. But if he can get it done, I'm buying a tag because he's got some booners down there. Yeah. He's got one double drop tine, and I just went where my property is. It's southeastern Kentucky, and it just doesn't seem like the bodies get very big because I'm just so used to these big Indiana corn-fed deer. But they grow some racks down there for sure.
Yeah. Like I said, Kentucky, ours is straight central Kentucky, smack dab right in the middle, and around I can't remember, Somerset or something like that.
Oh, no, that's perfect. I'm actually like 30 minutes or 45 minutes or just outside Somerset, so
okay.
not too far from there. Yeah,
yeah.
It's
So
actually like Wayne, Pulaski County is Somerset, so it's like right on the line of Pulaski and Wayne, and there's another county I can't remember what exactly the other
Lincoln
county
is the one we hunt.
Okay, so I think that's north of where I'm at. But actually, the county line damn near runs right through the middle of this property. So it's like you can kind of jump back. I don't really know. It's the same zone, I'm sure, for deer, but it's cool to be able to kill 2 turkeys down there for sure.
Yeah. Kentucky turkey hunting, there's nothing like it. I'm convinced they're the top state in the nation, but I've only hunted 3, so.
You said that you're going to go down there for deer, just the gun you said, or
no? We're actually going down there for muzzleloader season. We'll be down there, and then we'll be down there for probably like the week before rifle season comes in. That's what we did last year, and then during rifle hunt. Last year we did a thing with Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife. It was called Rutting in the Bluegrass. I don't know if you watched that or not.
Yeah, I watched that, and then you also teamed up with them on turkeys, right?
Yeah, we did the same thing, strutting in the bluegrass for turkeys. The rutting, I guess you did, since you said you saw me that buck hunt. But rutting in the bluegrass, we do 6 shows, 1 from bow season, 1 from muzzleloader season, and then we'll do 3 shows, and then youth season, and then we'll do 3 shows that are semi-live. So Saturday of rifle season, we'll have a show out Saturday evening, Sunday evening, and then Monday evening, right? 3 days in a row to kind of take you along with our season there, the first 3 days of Kentucky Rifles. And that was a blast.
How did you develop that relationship with the Kentucky DNR?
I'm not sure. That was already in set when I came on to Wired Outdoors. So I'm not sure how that all came to fruition there. They're just one of our sponsors, and then they just kind of started doing that.
I think it's very unique. I don't watch, I don't see too many, shows that are sponsored by any kind of DNR of any sorts,
Yeah, no, it is super rare. I don't know how that all came out, but yeah, it works, and everybody, it's a good relationship. So
absolutely. So like, we're talking about traveling for, deer and everything. What's your guys' first trip? Is it Ohio?
Yeah, I think we're actually going to Ohio. Ohio their bow season starts the weekend before we start here in PA. I think we start like the 2nd or something like that of October.
Right.
And PA or Ohio starts the weekend before that. So I think we're actually probably going out there first, that first weekend, and then just to see, because this is a brand new property, brand new lease that we got, and we don't know what's going on. We got a few trail cam pictures, nothing crazy, but we're kind of curious on what's going on. So I think we're going to head out there first.
Right. Are you guys running trail cam or cell cams out there, or just straight pulling cards when you get there?
Yeah, I think we have 4 cameras out there. I think 2 of them are cell cams, Moultrie cell cams, and then 2 of them are just regular pulling cards camera. I don't even know, what do you even call those?
Regular trail cams, I guess. Old fashioned.
Yeah, the old ones.
You guys put a lot of work into that property in the off season, right?
Yeah, we're actually doing a show with Big and J for that. It's called Hunting Property Blueprint, and what it is we're we show all the steps of getting the lease, and then what you can turn the lease into, and it's kind of like a follow along throughout the season kind of deal.
I just watched a video on there earlier. I went back and was watching a bunch. I had some time to kill after work today, but it was you and John or somebody. You guys did a food plot. Was that in PA or was that the Ohio? Because it looked real. It was like you guys put oats and then something else in with it, and it like in 6 weeks it looked really good.
That might have been one from last year. We usually do that for our food plot videos. We don't put them out, like we grow it the year before, and then obviously we don't put out the video until people are starting to plant and starting to plan what they're doing. So I think that was probably me and Jason here in Pennsylvania last year.
I think it was Jason.
Yeah, so I think I know which one you're talking about. It was Whitetail Institute video.
Yeah.
It was a nurse crop.
Yeah, nurse crop. Yeah, that was the video I was watching.
Yeah, so you put the oats in first, and then and then you seed it with clover and stuff, and then what the oats comes up, it lets the clover establish.
Right, so they just don't tear up the whole field and there's nothing left.
Exactly.
Now, are most of your food plots that you're putting in, is it all, is it accessible to get a tractor or a 4-wheeler or something in there? Or do you have any spots that are like a throw and grow?
Yeah, most of them are. We only have really one plot that we actually had to like build this like bridge and like lay it over the ditch, but we still can't get any equipment over it. We took a tiller down one year and actually hand tilled it. But most of them we have a pull behind chisel plow on the 4-wheeler, so that's how we usually do our plots now.
Yeah, that'd be a lot easier. We tried something new for the first time this year. We have a place where we can't get anything back here, and we went back there and just hit it with the weed eater and kind of cleared it all out. Kind of micro plot, it wasn't very big at all, and then we just did some throw and grow. And of course, after we did this, Indiana, we didn't get any rain for almost like a whole month. So I don't know exactly how great this. It's kind of been nice. The last few days have been, or actually probably about the last week, we've got a lot of rain here. So hopefully that gives me a little bit of boost. But
yeah. Those throw and grow plots are hard, but because you gotta have seed to soil contact to get your plant. But sometimes they do work.
Well, we hit it with the rake. I know what you mean though, as far as hitting it with the tiller, or whatever pull behind deal. But you said you moved to PA. How's the hunting up there? I've always heard that it's pretty crazy.
It's I don't know if you see me complaining quite a bit about the laws and stuff around here.
Right.
I won't say the laws are weird. It's just the people are weird, because what PA, I forget what they call it, blue laws or something like that. But from what PA, back in the day, you could go hunt anywhere. Mm-hmm. Like you could see a deer over there on Joe's property and you can go hunt it, like without asking permission. He could kick you. He could kick you off. But unless it was posted and he had a yellow posted sign, you could just go. And
I bet that made for some very interesting stories and probably lots of fights and probably people getting shot.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? Like,
I can't imagine.
Like, so Jason used to tell me, he's like, back when he was in high school, he would just go, just take off walking. And like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to put a stand here. And like, there's nobody, I mean, if they caught you, they could say, we don't want you on here. And so they, I guess by word of mouth, they can tell you no. But if they didn't have it posted, like you can just go hunt. And so people still have that mindset. But now they got like laws that are like, you need to ask permission. There's a purple paint law now, and all this other stuff. And now people are starting to get mad. Like, oh, I used to be able to hunt so and so's, and I can't anymore. And some people still don't care. They just still like, oh, I used to be able to hunt there. I've hunted there for years. I'm still hunting there. Well, you can't do that anymore. I don't care what. I'm still doing it. And it's ridiculous. And the people I thought Missouri had a lot of hunters. There's like 1 million hunters here in Pennsylvania. And it just makes it hard for the deer to grow.
And I hear they do a lot of like deer drives and stuff.
Yeah, they are a big fan of deer drives. They do like doing their deer drives, which I don't blame them. I used to love deer drives when I was in high school. We used to do them all the time, but
we used to do one like the last day of gun season. If somebody hadn't killed something, we'd try to push one out to them. But other than that, I've never really been a part of too much of that.
Yeah, is Indiana shotgun only?
No, you can do rifles now. That just became a law 5 years ago or so. But you can only use a rifle on private property. You can't use it on public land. Which if they could use it on public land, people would be getting murdered. Right?
Oh yeah,
because people just start flinging it.
Oh yeah,
and we have a lot of gun hunters. I wish that our state would really pick up on bow hunting more. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of bow hunters in our state, but when gun season comes in, everybody, and I mean everybody, thinks that they're a deer hunter. Which, more power to you. If you're getting out into the outdoors, I give you a hand on anything you need. But sometimes these people are fucking nuts, man.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. And especially like you get the city guys that come up. That's the way it was in Missouri. We always called them either the Orange Army or the city hunters. And I mean, my little town was 100 people, and then during rifle season when it opened up, it just turned. I don't know how many people we had. All the little shacks and people's houses were full of hunters, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah, we a property I've been hunting for a long time. We call it opening day World War III. But there's 4 or 5 guys in the surrounding blocks that we all communicate and kind of say what's going on and whatnot. And we're kind of in a group message, and it's like World War III is tomorrow, boys. You ready? Everybody's crying and putting memes on there because they ain't killed a buck before gun season comes in yet. But it can be crazy, and
yeah,
I know a lot of people love hunting public land, but I don't think I can personally do it with a shotgun or a muzzleloader or anything like that.
No, I've seen there's a really popular video with the hunting public out there. I don't know if you watched it. He's sitting there behind a camera, and he's got he's on the ground, and there's a guy walking across, and he's aiming at me, and then the deer run between him, and he's like, please don't shoot, and all of a sudden you hear, and he's like, holy cow, that guy just shot.
I think they were in Iowa or something when that.
Yeah, happened. I don't remember where that was, but I actually just saw it popped up the other day, and I watched it. I watch it every time I see it. I'm like, that is just nuts.
We're talking about Indiana. I feel like Indiana gets overlooked quite a bit when it comes to deer hunting.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely Indiana's definitely a sleeper state. I've seen a lot of good bucks killed out of Indiana, especially as of late too.
Yeah, because if you think about it, in our region here, I mean, I wouldn't say Midwest in general, but just maybe right around here, you got people going to Ohio, Illinois, Kentucky. What's in the middle of all that? Indiana.
Yeah.
So yeah, it gets overlooked for sure.
That definitely makes sense because you are you're not too far from Illinois, you're not too far from Ohio, and they're like, oh, there's world-class deer here. It's like, you got world-class deer right where you're at. I mean, look right behind you. Are those Indiana?
Right.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to take a few, but I mean, it's nothing crazy. I think my highest scoring is 137 and 5/8. It's the 8-pointer I got down here on the end. He doesn't look bigger than this one, but he is bigger than that one.
That other one does look bigger.
Yeah, those were actually back-to-back years, 2017, 2018, and I just happened to get lucky. Actually, it was almost to the day a year apart.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which, we kind of get talking sometimes on, do you kind of believe in kill dates? Like, you have this day, it's like, hey, I'm going hunting this day. I always have luck this day.
Actually, now that you mention it, I was going to say no, but obviously Halloween. I love being out on Halloween. That's just
absolutely.
That's a fun night to be out. I don't think I've ever killed anything on Halloween, but I remember having some really cool hunts on Halloween.
Yeah,
and it's just a cool day.
Absolutely.
Because you know what's going on. Like, everybody else is out having fun, doing whatever, and you're sitting in a tree, and it's cold, and it's Halloween, man. It's cool.
Right.
That I think I want to say November 7th. For some reason, is sticking out in my mind.
Right. Mine's actually, I just had the same conversation with somebody last night. Halloween, I have 2 dates: Halloween and November 5th. November 5th, I don't know why that always strikes a chord, but I always have incredible luck on the 5th.
Yeah, November 7th is sticking out in my mind for some reason, but I want to say it's almost like you said, it's just that day. Right. But I mean, let's be honest, anytime from October 31st or the end of October to the middle of November, it's dynamite. So
absolutely, I'm taking the second week off of November here, so I'll get to bow hunt leading into our shotgun season. So hopefully, I can get it done before the Orange Armory comes out.
So you guys open your rifle or gun season right in the middle of the rut then?
Yeah, I hate that too.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's usually like the second or third Saturday in November.
Yeah.
And then we have actually a 3-week gun season, and then muzzleloader for a couple weeks, and then we have late bow, which it doesn't last very long, and it's usually colder than I'll get out, and it's hard to get out there anyways. But usually I transfer to the ducks by then.
Yeah. Okay. So you're a duck hunter too.
Yeah. I was huge into it for probably a stretch of 10 years or so. Me and some buddies, that's all we did was duck hunt. Like, we couldn't not duck hunt. And then I got into the filming thing a little bit, and I just, we have big whitetails. We have, me and some buddies and some family, we have great property that hold big bucks year after year, and we're getting good at managing these properties. And it's something that, would I rather sit in a tree stand and film somebody and see 15 deer in a day, or do I want to go sit in a duck hole and not see any ducks for the day? Because here in East Central Indiana, our duck season isn't that great. It all depends on the weather.
Yeah.
And, if you got a good cold front coming down, you might get lucky on some honkers. But other than that, it's not the greatest place to duck hunt in the world. So I definitely switched gears a little bit and recognized where I was at in the United States.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because one of my friends that I used to do I say filming, but we used to just mess around with the cameras and stuff. He's a giant waterfowler, and he's taken me on some really cool waterfowl hunts. We were in Missouri, the Central Flyway. I don't know if that's where you're.
No, we're like we're Central Flyway, but we're so far away from. We're more like getting birds off the Great Lakes.
Yeah,
and I'm like pretty close to the Indiana-Ohio border. So if I was just a little bit. If I was on the other side of the state and I caught the birds coming out of Lake Michigan along a major river called the Wabash here in Indiana, holds tons. I mean, it's probably something that you're used to seeing all those birds on the Mississippi.
The Missouri, flying down the Missouri there.
Right.
So he was a real big waterfowler, and like I said, he took me on some really cool, awesome waterfowl hunts, and it was kind of funny because him and I went in and bought like a really expensive camera, and I'd always want to take it deer hunting, and he'd always want to take it waterfowl. And I'm like, nobody wants to watch waterfowl.
Right.
Like nobody. I mean, and he still does it. He still makes some really cool waterfowl videos. But I'm like, don't want to watch. People don't want to watch you shoot a limit of 6 ducks that weigh about 3 pounds each, or they want to see you kill like a giant 200-pound whatever. But that's kind of funny because you don't usually see somebody you're either one or the other, and if they're really big, they don't like to go back into deer hunting. So.
Right. Yeah. We tried the filming and waterfowl. It didn't last very long because we kind of felt that it was hard because we didn't want to buy nice equipment and go stick it on a tripod in a swamp. What if somebody kicks it over, the dog kicks it over or something? I'd be pissed. You just kicked my $1,500 camera in the water.
Right. Yeah.
But we tried the GoPro thing for a while. I actually have some old footage on my camera or my computer from years back when we were messing around with it, but we never really had that really great footage that we could even put out. It was more for our personal use and, drinking beers in the garage and turning it on and,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. We got some cool stuff too. And it's still even waterfowl hunting or deer hunting. The one day you don't take the camera, that's when you're, oh my gosh, then you got ducks right in your face.
We actually took a guy that I worked with a couple times, and he goes, "I'm not bringing a gun. I'm gonna film for you guys." And we just happened to take him one day, and we have this retaining pond off of a hog farm here off of I-70, and we just had a big push one day. They all come from a casino just north of us, and they were all coming, and I bet you we saw 2,000 to 3,000 geese in one day, and the whole time he's on the camera, he's cussing the whole time. He's like, "Oh, holy hell! Oh my God! F this, F that," and that's all you can hear because he's not used to. He might have been used to seeing those birds, but it really didn't register with him until he got out there, and that's what we were hunting for. And then they're all over the place. Mm-hmm. And we actually shot. 3 of us shot some black ducks on camera one day when he came with us, which is very rare for where we're at here in Indiana. And you can actually only kill 1 per day, and it just happens that all 3 of us got to kill 1 per day. And actually,
that's awesome.
I'm that bird's in my freezer. I need to get that thing mounted at some point.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Have you ever been snow goose hunting?
I have not. Some guys that I waterfowl with, a lot of them are still in it. They still do that more than deer hunting. I mean, they might hunt shotgun season for deer, but they're mostly into waterfowl, and they go down to Arkansas for the conservation season every year. Yeah, I mean, they shoot like 175 geese in a day and shit. Yeah.
Well, that's what we were. That was the fun waterfowl hunting for me. When snow goose, everything else was done. It's in February. The weather's getting better. It's 60, sometimes 70 degrees. And you're just out in the middle of the field on the layout blind, just getting a suntan, basically.
Right.
And then every once in a while, you just be sitting there like, "Oh, here comes 1,000 geese. Get ready."
And they do like the tornado too, which is really cool to see. I've never got to be part of that. I'm gonna do a snow goose hunt one of these days. I gotta try it out.
They're fun. We got into it one time. and they were doing the tornado above us and all the way. And literally, I know you know how layout blinds, but layout blinds,
Right.
what, 3-4 feet apart.
Mm-hmm.
And we had, I think, 5 guys, and the guy on the middle was calling it, like, when to shoot. And he was screaming, like, all right, you guys ready? Like, screaming, and we could barely hear him because those geese were so, and there was
So
like
loud.
there was like 1,000 of them, and it was so loud. But that's one hunt that I remember, and I mean, literally thousands of geese just circling above you. Is so
Did it take
cool.
you guys like 5 hours to set all the decoys out?
Yeah, and then you know, once one group flares off or whatever, and then you're like, well, this ain't working. Let's rearrange all these 1,000 decoys.
Yeah, that happens quite a bit in that. You know, they were telling me about it, and they put the extended tubes on the shotgun. You know, they can hold 10 shells, and there's no limit, and it's just pounding these birds.
It's so much fun. We did, we did pond jumping. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say that. But.
No, I know they do. They go into the people they go down with. I don't know if they own property. They know like a realtor that owns like a bunch of this farmland, but they go along those levees and they jump whole fields up, and they're just straight pounding birds.
Yeah, I remember the one time we did that and popped up over the levee, and it was kind of the same deal. There's like 2,000 geese on this little tiny pond, and like we're like below it, and they definitely couldn't see us, and we're like screaming like, "Are you ready?" And like, yeah, and then we just pop up and you just shoot across the top of them, and you just see heads split open.
That's awesome. One thing I was gonna talk to you a little bit about was I've seen in videos and on Twitter and social media. You know, you got your wife into hunting. How just explain how that's all kind of evolved.
So she never even hunted or anything until we met, and the very first year we moved in together. I was like, "Hey, do you want to go turkey hunting?" She's not a fan of the cold or anything, so I figured turkey hunting she would enjoy.
Right.
And well, actually, back up. So we went on a youth hunt. I took her along, and it was my cousin Max, his dad, and then she just tagged along because she wanted to see what turkey hunting was all about. And we ended up having a phenomenal hunt. We had a bird, and he come in gobbling. He gobbled probably 30 times, and we ended up shooting him at 5 steps.
That's awesome.
And she was sitting right next to me, and as soon as he shot that turkey, you can hear it there. I still have the video. You can hear on the video said, "I want to do it."
Where you can hear her breathing through the external mic because she's so fired up.
Yeah, and the cool thing was like the turkey came in from behind us, so we're facing like, you know, obviously forward. The turkey came in from behind us, so I had to turn the camera, and I'm filming over my shoulder, and I flipped the screen out, so I'm like watching it right here, like and I'm just like filming it like this, and he comes and he's gobbling, and he's like walking right next to us. Well, I didn't know, but my cousin's dad, he had a full strutter fan, like he had the fan, like that half strut Jake thing that you can buy at Walmart, but he put it on the tree next to him and like sat it up. So that turkey was coming into that, and I didn't know it at the time because we had other decoys out in front of us. But like he was coming into that, and then finally he got right next to us, and then his fan turned or whatever, and you could see on the camera the shotgun just going like this across, and then like he turns back to us and you shoot him. But yeah, it was like literally 5 steps away, and yeah, you can hear her in the background. So then fast forward, I think it was the opening weekend of Missouri season. We went, and then again, her very first hunt, she killed a double bearded turkey. Jeez. And yeah, and it came in, and it was actually we had it 10 yards in front of us, and it was on the other side of a woven wire fence, and it couldn't get through. And I had this all on video, and it's like going back and forth. And then she had some jakes come in front, and I was like, shoot the jake, whatever. We're not even worried about this tom over here. And she shot the jake, and I think she like jerked whenever she shot way above it. Well, that shot scared the tom up over the fence.
Oh wow!
And then luck. I know I was amazed because then he flew over and he was kind of putting, and then he was looking around, but then he saw my decoy and immediately went into full strut. So then he strutted right in the decoy, and I was like, you can hear me on camera, shuck a shell, put another round in. So you can hear her shucking it, and then it struts right in. She shoots it 5 yards from the decoy. It's amazing.
I need you guys to take me turkey hunt.
So then, yeah, so she's pretty got hooked on hunting then, and then this year she shot her first buck. Less than ideal situation there, but
is that the one where she shot a little far back or
yeah,
like shoulder shot or something?
She hit it right
in the neck. Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, it was her first time up in a tree stand, and she had a crossbow, and it was my fault. I had her on the wrong tree stand. Mm-hmm. Like she should have been in my stand, and I should have been in her stand, because then she would have had an easy, shot. But she had to like turn all the way around, and I know people are. I'm on video here. Your listeners are going to be listening to this on like Apple Podcasts, and I'm actually doing the motions on video, but right. I apologize for that.
Well, this will be on YouTube too, so the people on YouTube will see your hand gestures too.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like, is she going like this and going like that? No, so and it was kind of my fault, but yeah, she had to shoot crossbody, but she ended up that, I guess, I know a lot of people don't like rage, but that rage actually saved us on that hunt, because it opened up and she hit that artery right there in the neck, and he just bled out.
Right.
So it was pretty awesome.
I was kind of talking with somebody earlier about rages. Some people say, they don't want to shoot mechanical and blah, blah, blah. And that could be probably a whole podcast in itself.
Or 5.
Right. What do you prefer? What kind of broadheads do you shoot personally?
So I shoot the rage. But this year my wife got her first bow. She's going to shoot a muzzy. I just think it depends on your situation, honestly. I'm like, right. I know a lot of guys, I wounded a deer and I never found it. I'm never shooting rage again. Well, where'd you hit that deer at?
Exactly.
So
go ahead, buddy.
So I think, and my wife is going to shoot a muzzy this year because she's only shooting 40 pounds. Mm-hmm. And that rage, when it opens up, it's not going to go in.
Right.
So that I know the muzzy will go through the bone or whatever. So it just depends on what your situation. But I am a fan of the rage.
Yeah. I started bow hunting when I was 14 years old, and I shot 3-bladed muzzies my whole life. And actually last year, for the first time, I decided to switch it up, try something different. And I actually shot the Bloodsport Nightfalls. It's like a hybrid. It has 2 fixed blades and then the expandables. But the deer I shot in Wisconsin, it was incredible. It looked like somebody threw a grenade off in his chest. I was like, wow. But I was the creature of habit. I shot the muzzies for a long time, but I would never not try something out. Like if you were like, man, these rages are, I'm going to listen to you or right. Somebody that shot them. I've actually done track jobs on some deer shot with rages, and, a blind guy could have found this deer,
yeah.
Bleeding out both sides. It looked like somebody with a bucket throwing it out.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the Oklahoma deer I shot, I hit it high and back. And I kid you not, and it's on video too, like he walked by, or ran, I guess, and probably wasn't walking, but he ran by the cedar tree, and there was blood on the cedar tree up to my eyeballs.
That's
and like
crazy.
I'm like, good Lord.
Right. Some people actually, one of my bucks on my wall back here, when I shot him, it was during gun season, and when I was cleaning him up, I found a mechanical broadhead in his, probably like an inch away from his spine. Like mm-hmm. Somebody had a bad day. Mm-hmm. Like, you could tell it was probably a very high shot, just to where the placement was, and it had pus and stuff all around it. But when I was young and stuff, and the people I was hunting around, they're like, we don't ever shoot the mechanicals, and now probably all of them are probably shooting mechanicals now,
Yeah.
Everything evolves,
Yeah. And then the one time that they make a bad shot and recover that deer, they're going to be like, oh, this mechanical is awesome.
Right. So at all these states that you get to go on and do all this, what's your favorite place to go? I know that's kind of like a basic white girl question, but
honestly, there's Pike County, Illinois has probably been my favorite, but the coolest hunt that we've been on was in New Mexico cat hunting. That was a blast.
Is that where you guys grilled the bobcat?
No, that was Texas. Texas is fun too. But no, that was down in South Texas. That's a good place to hunt too. But no, I don't think anything beats Pike County, Illinois hunting. We end up on those ridges, and man, I don't know if you watched the hunt from last year.
That's actually one of my favorite videos that you guys have done. The video kind of starts out and he's laughing. He's like, yeah, we're mad because we haven't seen a deer in 10 minutes.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we literally we're going up on this ridge, and this ridge is dynamite. Every year we're there, and literally as soon as we pop up on the ridge, we're like, oh, there's a buck coming down the ridge. We're hiding behind trees, and we walk about 20 more yards, like, oh, there's another one. Get behind the tree, and we'd hide behind a tree and let him walk by, and then we finally make it to our stand. And I remember I was on a cliff, and this is in the video too. Like there was a cliff behind me, so I was telling Jason, I'm like, I'm not even gonna watch back here because nothing's coming from behind me. It's a straight up and down cliff. And I remember sitting in our stand, and I was looking at him. I was like, you hear that? He's like, yeah, what is that? I was like, I don't know. I looked down behind me. There's a friggin' buck, like, at the bottom of our stand, like, sniffing. like, oh, there's a buck right there. He must have come from back there.
That's awesome.
But, yeah, that is a cool hunt.
Yeah, you always hear people talk about it, the Golden Triangle and all that out there. Does it live up to the hype?
Yeah, I would say the hunting industry destroyed Pike County for a while. Like,
I guarantee
they went out there, and the guy that we hunt on, he said he would sell. He was an outfitter at the time. He doesn't do it anymore, but he would sell hunts. He said they would kill 15, 16 world-class bucks every year on the same ridge. And then he's like, we just killed everything. He's like, there was no management and nothing. Like they just went and shot everything. And now it's like people kind of understood that, kind of cut way back. Like I said, he's not outfitting anymore. I think there are still quite a few outfitters there, but it's definitely coming back. One of our field staffers killed a 150-inch out there last year.
Nice.
He was a good deer. He was one of the ones that we were actually after. But yeah, it's definitely coming back, and it does live up to the hype.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I chose Buffalo County, Wisconsin last year. I got to go on a trip up there, and Illinois was close for me because I'm right here in Indiana. But I feel like it would be similar to Indiana, like, I don't know, the terrain, I guess, a little bit. I wanted to experience something different, and that's why I wanted to go on a trip to begin with. I go to Kentucky every year, and we might go to Ohio and do some public land hunting, but I'd never really gone on a full-blown hunting trip, like go to an outfitter, drive up there and do the whole thing. I did the whole thing by myself.
Oh, that's awesome.
Me and my wife, we go to a lot of racetracks in the summer, and with 2020, we didn't go to any racetracks in the summer, so we kind of had a little bit of extra money that we would have normally spent on some trips going to some races. And I asked her, I'm like, hey, can I plan a hunting trip? I've never got to do this before. She's like, well, where are you going to go? I'm like, that's a good question. So I did some research, and I was seeing everybody talk about bow hunting in Buffalo, Wisconsin. It's like the #1 county for Pope and Young in the United States. So I went and did it, and it was incredible, man. I don't know what your thoughts are on some of the outfitters. I'm sure some can be a lot better than others as far as like ethics and stuff go. But these guys I hunted with Redding Ridge Outfitters, it was incredible. I mean, it was like hanging out with the boys. We're drinking beer, got the ribs on the smoker at night, and got the aerial maps out, looking to where we're gonna go and what we're gonna do. And my guide was actually a cameraman for Pat Nicole for like 10 years or something.
Oh, cool.
So I was kind of picking his brain on the video aspect of things, and it was an incredible experience, and I would go in a heartbeat again.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wisconsin's definitely a really cool state to hunt. Like I said, I went there 2 years in a row, I think, and I had a blast in Wisconsin. Yeah, some outfitters, I would say there are some bad eggs out there, but you're going to get that with anything. But I have some of my best friends in Missouri. They do an outfitting kind of business too, and I know they're awesome. So,
right, yeah, that's. I didn't think it was going to play out like that. Like it was just kind of something that I planned it obviously way ahead of time because you have to on certain places, or you're not going to have a spot to go. And I was kind of nervous at first because I was going by myself, but I knew I was going to be hunting by myself anyways. And, I would go back in a heartbeat. But do you guys get to do the outfitter thing quite a bit, or you just get to mostly do, like, private land?
Ours is mostly private land. We did hunt one outfitter. Jason, he goes to USO, United States Outfitters, every year in New Mexico for elk. So that's one outfitter that he does go back year and year. But as far as deer hunting, ours is mostly just friends that he's made over the years. We did go one year, in 2019, I think, to Oklahoma. We went to, oh my goodness, I can't think of the outfitter right now, Choctaw or something like that.
Is that where you shot your buck?
Yeah, that's where we went down there and shot a couple 125 8-inch 8-pointers, and it was fun. But I mean, they had the feeders and stuff, which you can do. And I mean, I love hunting over feeders. I know there's a big stigma too. There's a big stigma too. People, oh, that's not hunting. It's definitely hunting.
Oh, for sure. That's not. You get to do that in PA?
No,
we don't get to do that here either. That's why I'm kind of intrigued to go down to Kentucky here in a few weeks and film, because I've never got to hunt over a bait pile.
It's awesome, and I know like people think like I said, oh, that's not hunting or whatever. You still like putting that bucket of corn ain't gonna guarantee you that buck's gonna come to it or anything. And you still gotta be smart about it. And there's definitely a strategy to it. It's not, oh, I'm going to dump this corn here and I'm going to kill 160 incher 20 minutes later. It's not how it works.
Well, I'll ask another basic white girl question. Bucket list hunt, any state, country, any animal, where are you going?
I want to say the Milk River in Montana.
That'd be cool.
So I grew up watching Realtree and the Monster Bucks videos. Huge fan of them when I was younger. And I remember that being like the #1 spot they'd go to every year. I think they still go there.
I mean, I can just picture that in my mind. David Blanton sitting in a stand on the Milk River. That's like just pops out when you say Milk River. That's the face that comes into my brain.
Exactly, me too. And he was my favorite. I mean, obviously now I think Waddell is my favorite because Blanton's he's fading out a little bit. But he was my favorite. And I remember watching him, and it's like, man, this guy's funny and cool. I want to share a camp with that guy someday.
Right. Now, is there anybody in the hunting industry that you kind of idolized growing up? I mean, would it be like Blanton?
Yeah, I would say any of the Realtree guys, really. Blanton and Bill Jordan and Waddell, obviously. Him and I want to say we're best friends on Twitter, but we're on a first name basis on Twitter.
That's awesome. Some people that I've kind of I really pay attention to. I'm sure you've heard of them, but the Humanimal guys with the Kiefer brothers, I just really love their shows, and their producer, I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. Aaron Belisi, I think is how you say his name.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
He does the Fall podcast, and that's a weekly adventure for me. He drops it at like 4 a.m. for people driving to work, and I always get to listen to that on Tuesday mornings driving to work. But I think they do an incredible job, and I try to really pay attention to a lot of the B-roll that they do, or just some of the shots that they can take. And I wouldn't say I try to imitate it, but I like their style.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with imitating or even getting the same exact shots as somebody. I mean, you got to learn, and if you like it, you like it.
Right. Now, you take a DSLR camera too, right, to take pictures and stuff?
Yeah, I'll usually pack one on my back, and then I'll have the main camera that I'll pack in, just carry in.
Right. that your filter does all the work for you, like people give you shit for on Twitter.
Yeah, that camera takes awesome pictures. Like, yeah, thanks.
That's awesome, man. Well, tell everybody where they can find you at on social media.
I'm at KCamp3 on Twitter. I don't even know what my Instagram is. I'm never on there, but yeah, at KCamp3 on Twitter. I don't know if you want to follow me or not. It's kind of fun.
Well, it's kind of
a jerk sometimes.
You kind of cool how this show worked out, because I actually had somebody lined up for this week, and they gave me the cold shoulder a little bit. And I always ask the question. You'll see it on there. I always ask it about once a week. Who you guys want to hear? Because I feel like Twitter is like my main audience. I feel like the people that I interact with on Twitter are actually people that probably listen to this or watch my videos when we start hunting and stuff. But and they said, somebody commented and said, get Kyle on. I'm like, well, I've been wanting to get him on. I just hadn't asked him yet. I was gonna wait till you had at least been somewhere already and get an update for you. But we'll get you back on at some point.
Yeah, anytime. And hey, let me ask you, since I answered, what's your dream hunt? Is there anything you want to do?
Yeah, there's a few. I really want to go shoot a moose in like Maine or like Alberta or somewhere up there, like in the Yukon somewhere with a bow. I think that'd be awesome.
Oof. Those are giant. And it's amazing how big those things are.
You know, we always talked about it with some buddies. You know, when we were shooting the shit, drinking beer, like, what would you be your first paid hunt to go on? Of course, all of them said, we're going to Arkansas shooting ducks and blah, blah, blah. And I always said the first hunt that I would go on would be a whitetail hunt, because I feel like I have enough knowledge to put myself in a situation like, you know, most of these places you go, you can only shoot 4.5-year-olds or 130s or 140s or whatever it is. And, you know, some of those places, if you shoot a buck you're not supposed to, you get fined for it or whatever, you know. Like, I feel like I had enough knowledge to be able to age a deer on hoof, or say, hey, it's this big, or just be excited enough to, you know, just really get you going on one of those hunts. But I appreciate you coming on with us, man. That's really cool. You jumped on.
Yeah, anytime, man. Like I said, or like you said earlier, if you want to do a mid-season one or whatever, absolutely, I'm in for it.
Get you back on and talk about what's going on and everything, and then I think you need to come on pre-Kentucky turkey season and get us fired up on these longbeards before we go venture down in there in Kentucky.
I'm down. I'm down for that.
Well, that's awesome.
I'm already looking forward to forward to turkey.
Absolutely. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Subscribe to the YouTube, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all those good things. But thanks for listening.
Peace.